Hello indie game fans, I have more new looks and even release date confirmations in this video, so let's begin with Akatori, a long in development Metroidvania title which did just get a new trailer, in which this game has undergone quite the development journey, going from pure pixel art to its current look of 2D sprites with 3D environmental objects. This trailer showed off more of the platforming and combat, which looks impressive, and even gives us a look at the dimension switch animation that literally flips the world upside down, which allows you to visit different realms across different eras and looks good, although we still do not have a release date or window, and apparently it's going to Kickstarter for funding pretty soon. I just covered upcoming strategy games but missed Hollywood Animal in that video, so I decided to put it here, in which this is a management simulator in which you are in control of a major Hollywood studio at the beginning of sound cinema, having to lead the studio to fame and fortune. It's not all rosy good times, since you have to make tough choices and can even be brutal in your business dealings, not to mention dark deeds and debauchery such as blackmail or even involving the mafia to take out the competition, and looks deeply strategic. This video is brought to you by Monastery, an ambitious roguelite deck builder in which you are what you wear, with the pedigree of the team being very legit, which makes it of note. You see, this game is set in the larger dark fantasy universe known as the Unseen Domains, which spans comics, books, a tabletop card game, and this video game, in which the witch plague has overrun the world, which results in hordes of the undead, and where the magical veil between the worlds of humans and monsters has shattered, which leads to conflict. You play as a hero attempting to survive in the ruins of a lonely monastery, in which the tolling of the bell somehow is able to revive you from the dead, and where you are venturing out, slaying monsters and gathering blood shards for upgrades. As mentioned earlier, the unique part of this game is that your deck of cards is affected by the equipment that you use, in which there are 3 types each of swords, shield and armor, which have their own variants and subtypes as well. As you play with these, you get equipment-specific XP that allows you to unlock more cards, so there's plenty to experiment with in terms of builds and replayability. Additionally, it has a 2-sided combat system in which enemies are on both your left and right, with your shield blocking attacks from the front and armor attacks from the back, so there's added strategic implications as well. Interestingly, this game is currently in Steam Early Access, but they have taken to Kickstarter to involve the community with stretch goals and rewards, such as additional goodies like print and play versions of their tabletop board games as a bonus, so hop on over to the campaign page to support them. A whimsical title that got a confirmed release date is the not so creatively named Yet Another Fantasy title, or Yaft, which is an action-adventure title set in a medieval fantasy world, but has open world elements in which you are free to take on whatever quest you want, ranging from saving the kingdom to destroying a ring or to slay a giant beaver. You play as a rogue who is not necessarily the good guy in this world, instead looking out for his own interests. But there are NPCs to befriend and to get on your side, weird and bizarre side quests, and apparently even CRPG style narrative choices that the game will account for, such as stealing a precious ring instead of returning it. If you thought that you have seen this game before, there is indeed a similar title named Rustler Grand Theft Horse, which released out of early access in 2021 and is from a different developer, with the absurdity of the concept showing that it can work, so maybe this developer will nail the execution. Here's a game that you don't see every day, since Amedama itself is described as a side-scrolling, soul-shifting action-adventure game, so there's a lot to unpack, and based on the trailer, does look like quite the intriguing prospect. Our hero is on a quest to search for his sister, who was presumably taken by the very men that killed our hero, so that's the twist, since our protagonist is dead and only his soul remains, but even that will depart in 7 days. Luckily for us, he has the ability to possess other humans and creatures, temporarily taking over their bodies until he can find a new vessel, which then leads to the intrigue of the sandbox structure. Depending on who you possess, this grants access to different fighting styles and abilities, and I'm guessing even access to certain areas of the town, or to be able to talk to NPCs that would otherwise be hostile to you, so there's definitely a lot of potential for exploration and interactions. If you're unable to complete the game within the 7-day time period, apparently you will just reincarnate and the cycle starts over, so there's a Groundhog Day-like structure to the game, and I honestly wonder if the developers have managed to account for all the possible scenarios, and I guess we'll know soon with the early access release in March.
Morning, boy. There you go.
Hey, Lily, ready for the dive?
Absolutely, Howard. I can't wait to find the final piece of the treasure.
I'm not usually one for spooky titles, but the art style of Deep Beyond did win me over, a first-person thriller about a sea explorer that dives underwater in search of treasure and answers with regards to her father's disappearance. It looks super cool, and I do wonder if there's anything seriously messed up going on, like eldritch horror a la Dredge, or maybe it will swerve us the way Gone Home did all those many years ago, so whatever the case may be, this should be one to watch.
No.
I was pleasantly surprised to see the announcement of Outward 2, an open-world RPG that is the sequel to a game from 2019, and while this trailer is supposed to be pre-alpha footage, it already looks very impressive and is a huge improvement from the original game. Both of these are open-world third-person action-adventure RPGs, but have survival game elements such as hunger, fatigue, and thirst, in which you need to deal with them or else you die. The game also has an auto-save system and no manual saving, so you cannot save scum like in the Fallout games, and where the original is quite the different kind of RPG that is worth a play. This title does look very impressive, so if curious, be sure to wishlist the game for now.
No, darling. Even ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
Here's a new look at Ada Tainted Soul, another long-in-development action-adventure game which I have covered on the channel in the past, in which the subtitle is new since it was previously just Ada if I'm remembering correctly, which isn't the most memorable of names. This is a dark fantasy action-adventure RPG with impressive combat, where movement and dodging is critical, but is not a Souls-like title. You are exploring these ancient ruins, and apparently it has an open world structure, so we'll see how big or open the map really is. It otherwise looks like a decent entry, and signs of life are always good, with it now having a target release window of Q3 2024, so you won't have to wait for long. the new trailer, in which Voyn is a first-person slasher game in a dark fantasy world, following in the footsteps of games like Elderborn, but in the more classic kind of setting. It is all melee combat in this game, in which you are swinging a variety of weapons in order to take out hordes of enemies, using powerful abilities, devastating combos, and even dodging to maximum effect. The movement and traversal options here look awesome, since you can dash across castle walls and even land a ground pound type of attack, in which you are venturing out to fight enemies to get loot, and then retreating back to your hub area for upgrades, but the developers do stop short of calling it a roguelite. It is happy days since we have a new trailer for the bullet hell action-adventure game with Metroidvania elements titled Mini Shoot Adventures, a fan favourite title going by the comments that you folks leave in the videos, with the translation of Metroidvania unlocks and abilities to a top-down Zelda-style game being surprisingly well done. The best part is that this releases on April 2nd, which is less than a month away, with this being one of the most high-potential games of the year. For more upcoming 2D Zelda-style games, watch this video with 40 upcoming titles.